Yo, motherfucking yo. We are back with the Know Thyself Sundays. Feel like it's been a long time. But time is an illusion, right? That's what nigga like to say. Time is an illusion. Time ain't real. So we back to do the Know Thyself Sundays. As you know, we are reading Sri Ramana Maharshi's book, Be As You Are. Why does he say be as you are? It's simply be as you are because what you're searching for spiritually is what you already are. You should end the search and realize that you are that already and just be that. But it's so simple that it's complex to the mind. The mind doesn't know what the fuck that is. And the mind is not trying to submit to that. We have to do a whole bunch of shit. The mind believes that it has to do a whole bunch of shit. So, obviously, you get spiritual systems that say you have to do a whole bunch of shit. And what do I always tell you? What's the common thing amongst all spiritual systems? The mind. What's the common thing amongst all spiritual people? The mind. What's the most common thing across the whole goddamn multiverses? The fucking mind. So if you understand the mind, like I always tell you, you understand the illusion. And you understand that there is no illusion. Because ultimately there is no mind. There's just you, the awareness, who is observing the mind. The mind is the creator of the illusion. So when you hear be as you are, you're like, what? No, I'm supposed to be becoming something more divine. You're already that. Your only problem is you haven't accepted it or you haven't recognized it yet. It's about recognition, right? Because let's say you want to search for a guy named Joe Smo. You want to search for a guy named Joe Smo. If you in a building full of a whole bunch of people, you're looking for Joe Smo, but you don't know what the fuck Joe Smo looks like. You haven't been given a proper description of what Joe Smo looks like, right? You ain't been given a proper description of what Joe Schmo looks like. Or let's say you know Joe Schmo. Let's take it back. Let's say you know Joe Schmo from elementary. That was your dog. Middle school and elementary, that was your dog. And now you know you're supposed to be looking for Joe Schmo. But shit, it's been 30 goddamn years. You know Joe Schmo, but you ain't recognized Joe Schmo. Now you walking through the room and motherfuckers speaking to everybody, dapping you up. And everybody like, damn, what's up? I ain't seen you in a minute. Then Joe Schmo daps you up. And you just thinking it's just everybody else who done dapped you up. And you dap them up. And you pull back and look at them. You didn't recognize them. Y'all make that face like, Joe Schmo, that's my motherfucking nigga. That's my dog. Boy, goddamn it, boy, look at you, boy. You look different, boy. You look good. You look good. Look at you, boy. You look good. You look good. You been a minute, boy. I ain't seen you in so long. God damn it. Recognition. You see what I'm saying? I always been there. Joe Schmo was there the whole goddamn time. But you weren't able to recognize it. You weren't given the proper tools. Or maybe there is no tools. Joe Schmo didn't have to change. You didn't have to change the way that you look for Joe Schmo. You just had to be able to recognize it. And with this human body, they say, you're able to recognize. With this human mind, they say, you're able to recognize. This human incarnation, they say, humans are able to recognize. They say animals are not, plants are not. So if you believe in that reincarnation shit, there you go. If you just join and hit that like button, y'all. But you were not able to recognize. And that's the most profound shit. Because what happens after that recognition or the realization? What happens after that realization? You go back to being in the party, doing the normal party shit. Sorry, y'all. I really shouldn't be eating on live, but you go back to doing the same shit that you were doing when you were partying before you recognized or realized Joe Smoke. Same thing with self-realization. The play continues, but only now you have realized that the continuation of the play has no effect on you. You've realized what you need to realize. Zero, my motherfucking Mexican hero. What's happening, guys? What's happening? Peace to the gods in Mexico. You know, we about to get it. We about to get this shit popping though, Zero. Just a little introduction. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Zero said, I literally opened TikTok and you appear. Then I open YouTube and watch this. I love it just in time. Yeah, man, I'm on TikTok now. I've been pushing that P on TikTok. Don Tree, what's happening? What's happening? Just giving a little introduction. Y'all know how we like to do. Give a little introduction. Let the new people who come in and watch this video on a rerun or live get an understanding what the fuck they about to get into. Because they listening to a so-called ghetto nigga break down non-duality. And I'm just giving an introduction to let them know if they need to run very far or come closer. You might want to run because it get raunchy over here. So, no, facts, Zero, facts. So, today we're getting into chapter 10 and 11. And I've been kind of out of sight, out of mind, y'all, because not that I'm overwhelmed. Fuck it, I'm going to tell y'all. One of the biggest things of my dream world life is I am 34 years old and I'm about to have my first child. I'm about to be a daddy. I'm about to be a daddy, nigga. Nigga finna be a daddy. And I'm having a son. Me and my beautiful woman about to bring a boy into this world. About to bring a boy into this world, bro. I'm about to bring a fucking boy into this world. So, just been dealing with all the human things that you got to do with preparing for that. Obviously, we still got some more time. She ain't due for another, can't remember how long, but another how many months is April from now? However long fucking April is from now. But yeah, your boy about to be a pappy. I'm that baby's pappy. So, you know, the world, a lot of that is changing around me. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that is changing around me because the duty of this mind-body complex now has a higher level of duty to deal with as far as a child, as far as it goes raising a child. You know what I'm saying? So the duty is on and popping. And I can't even lie to you, I'm excited for this part of the dream. For this part of life. Overly excited. Just enough excited. You know what I'm saying? So this shit is big. This shit is big. The biggest P. I'm gonna name my little nigga Arjuna. If you know who Arjuna is. I ain't got it up here. But if you have read the I'm about to say the mystical Kabbalah, not the Rig Veda. God damn it, come on man. Damn it, man. The Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna. The whole story is about Arjuna and Krishna. Well, it's really about Krishna disguised as Arjuna. You don't know why I picked my little nigga name to be Arjuna. Put a little Arjuna on his P. But let's get into that because appreciate you, Zero. Appreciate you, Brody. Really appreciate that. Because when you got to understand when raising kids, you don't force this shit on the kids. So this nigga, if my little nigga come in the world and he wants to learn this type of shit, guess what? I'm here to be able to deliver that. I'm just going to teach him basic principles, which would be secretly, occultly founded in these principles here. But I'm going to teach the little nigga basic principles. That's my little guy. I'm going to teach you the basic principles. You don't force this spiritual shit on the kids, bro. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Zero. Zero said, Arjuna is so incredible. It's such an incredible name and carries a lot of blessings. Facts. Facts. So, he eventually going to want to grow up one day and be like, why my name Arjuna? I ain't never met no other black kids named Arjuna. And we'll have that talk. I give him that shit. Appreciate you, Don Tree. Appreciate it, brother. And I give it to him. And obviously he'll be around. My throb, what's happening? Oh, the gang showing up. We're finna get to going tonight. And obviously this should have happened. You know what I'm saying? We'll have that discussion and he'll be able to choose. Like, then go be a goddamn Christian if you want to, be Jewish if you want to, be Hebrew if you want to, be goddamn Nuwapian if you choose your own shit. I'm just going to tell him the main foundation principles behind all of this shit. Whether he takes it, he takes it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Can't force nothing on him. I'm going to, the kids come in the world, you usher them in, you take care of them, you give them some founding principles to go forth in life to deal with whatever life gives you. And then kids take their own path, just as all of y'all have taken your own paths. Pretty sure you veered away from what your grandparents and your parents have told you. So what makes us think it was just because I'm spiritual? I gotta make sure my son knows all this profound spiritual knowledge that I know? Or is that my ego to force that on him? Because there's no difference than what was happening with how we were getting done with Christianity. So of course he will grow up and reject this cosmic P. You see what I'm saying? So we won't be pushing it like that, but we will be pushing principal on his ass. So appreciate that, y'all. Yeah, I'm finna be a father. Me and my woman, we are overly excited and happy. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be my first at 34. I was never big on having kids, but I was never against having kids as well. You know what I'm saying? I'm just happy that, the way that this two aligned me and her together. I'm not even questioning if it was by chance. You know what I'm saying? This shit was meant. I've had so much realization of that. Like, this was the direction. You know what I'm saying? And she's the perfect woman for me to be having a child with. She's honestly the perfect woman for me. Not for you niggas, but for me. She's perfect. I want to ask for this shit no other way. Appreciate the love, y'all. Appreciate the love, y'all. Appreciate the love. And saying, you tell him, well, son, take a seat. Let me explain who you are. Man, facts. It'll be, don't get me wrong, my ego will be very pleased if he takes, you know what I'm saying, recognition or interest in this type of shit. It's a wrap. The ego would be very pleased. I will say that. I appreciate that, y'all. Grams, what's happening, my guy? What's happening? Keep doing what you're doing, dog. Keep doing what you're doing. All right, let's get into the show now, y'all. We are going for. Tell me, how does the audio sound? Am I choppy? Am I breaking up? What's going on? Oh, let me read down. You said Arjuna knows nature is. That's it right there. See what I'm saying? Arjuna knows that nature is the doer, mere instruments in the hands of Krishna or nature, even without Arjuna's role in it. Come on now. All right. Everybody say I sound good? Oh, shit. I'm on my project shit, eating my Ruffles with some hot sauce on it, so let me finish them off. Facts. What a motherfucking time to be alive and aware. Nigga scared of it. I ain't running from it. I'm running to it. Let's do it. God damn it, nigga. Damn. So, this is where we left off at. Finished it up. Let's get back to it. We are going into chapter 4. Chapter 10. Let me set all this up right so I can see the comments and see the book. Okay. Well, appreciate you coming in from Sri Lanka. Hopefully this suits you well. Hopefully this aligns with you. Appreciate you for tapping in and joining us. We are reading Sri Ramana Maharshi's Be As You Are with commentary. Hopefully my commentary doesn't offend you, because I do talk very rough over here in American standards. Very rough. You know us Americans. You in Sri Lanka. You know us Americans. You know how us Americans talk. But let's get to it, y'all. Part 4. Meditation and yoga. Now remember, we moving from a non-dual standpoint. So this is not the type of yoga you're going to hear about what you may hear in Bhakti yoga. Actually it is, but that's another story. Bhakti yoga. God damn it. God damn, how did everything just go out my mind that quick? Bhakti yoga. This is Jnana yoga, right? So this is the yoga of the self. Yoga of knowledge. Knowledge and self are synonymous. So, the rest of the yogas. I don't know how the fuck it just left my mind. I'm pretty sure somebody correct me in the what's the name. So, Jnana yoga, Bhakti yoga, Hatha yoga. All the other yogas. But the best meditation is that which continues in all 3 states. It's very pertinent that we understand why he says the best meditation is that continues in all 3 states, because we have to understand 3 states: waking, dreaming, deep sleep. No one can deny those, and all of us have those experiences. All of us don't have the most profound spiritual experiences, but every one of us have the experience of waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. So the yoga, see, and why is he saying that? Because he's distinct from the other yogas where you can only do in the waking state, right? You can only do the meditation state by being in the waking state. You can go to your Raja yoga. First, you have to be in the waking state to go to your Raja yoga. You have to be in the waking state to do the Hatha yoga, right? So the best yoga, he's saying, is one that permits through the waking, dreaming, and the deep sleep states. He's going to get into it. It must be so intense that it does not give room even to the thought that I am meditating. It needs to be that intense. That thought shouldn't even pop up, because what we're talking about here, getting to the state of no mind. Samadhi just means no mind, absence of mind. So the thought of I am meditating shouldn't even be there, right? The thought of I am meditating should not even be there in this intense meditation that he's talking about. Ace, Maceo, peace, what's happening? Having made the liking to see through the deceitful senses subside, right? Your senses are deceitful. Your senses are the matrix. Your senses is Maya, the doer, Prakriti, the doer, nature. And having thereby ended the objective knowing of the mind. There you go, he just said it. The jumping ego. The jumping ego. The jumping ego. To know the lightness or the lightless light. Listen, to know the lightless light and the soundless sound in the heart is the true power of Yoga Shakti. Let's get into it. All right. Sri Ramana's insistence that awareness of the I thought was a prerequisite for self-realization. Was a prerequisite. Y'all know I fuck up my words. A prerequisite for self-realization, led him to the conclusion that all spiritual practice which do not incorporate this feature were indirect and insufficient. So why would he say that? Why would he say that? Because if it's not leading you back to self, it's insufficient. Because that's the key principle of all of this. If it's not leading you back to the self, not myself, not yourself, but the self, if it's not leading you back to the self, which is first point of contact would be the I thought, which is the ego. So what's his whole rule here? What's his whole thing? It's to point you back to the ego. Look back onto the ego, and that ego will have no choice but to subside or dissolve into its principle or its source. Like a lot of spiritual people say, source this and source that. It has no choice but to go back to source. It has no choice but to go back to source. And that's when you get to the self, which you are not getting to, you already are. Right? Coop TGS, what's happening? Oh, my guy, Luminary, what's happening, dog? What's happening, dog? What's happening? I'm glad to see you here. Don Tree said, let it flow. It's really not hard. That's an idea or concept of the mind. Facts. That's an idea or concept of the mind. Let's see. Because I don't remember. I'm looking at what Don Tree talking about. Dunya. Oh, what's her name came in? Dunya is a Sanskrit word with several meanings, most commonly for blessing and fortunate and gratitude. And it's also a grain or cereal, depending on the context. So I can see that Dunyam can also mean to that Bindu seed, like that middle point as well. Let's see what what's the name here from Sri Lanka says. Explain to us what Dunya means. Because he says samadhi equals Yupchara samadhi, like moonlight. Dunya's first, Dunya 2, Dunya 3, then Dunya 4. Attain God abilities. Oh, okay. Okay. So it sounds like it's more like a going down through levels to get to some point, which is the point. But yeah, oh damn, I could have pulled it up. Because they still want the definition. Let's put it up. I'm gonna share the screen, y'all. Hold up. And show y'all. Stop screen share. Okay. Now let's share the screen. There you go, right there. As far as it goes from YouTube, I mean Google, that's what Dunya means. But obviously, when you start getting down to the nitty gritty of what that shit really means, you'll figure out something. That's what I'm saying. I'm seeing grain. When I see grain, I think about this one middle point. Because also you get blessed, fortunate, or gratitude, and also grain. So when you see shit like grain, you know you're getting down to that middle point, the source. See what I'm saying? There you go, right there, source. But it's saying source of riches and wealth. But obviously, we know it goes deeper than that. We talking about the source. Where if you're dealing with Maharaj, I'm on some shit like the absolute, the absolute, the most powerful, the most riches of the riches would be what? There you go. Yeah, we can run with that. We can run with that. We can run with that. But the deeper meaning behind what a pineal gland actually represents, that center point, that stillness, that center point of stillness, which is the source from which all things that have movement comes from. Right? And that's what we're dealing with here when we talk about the cosmic the cosmic principle. Now let's share the screen again and get the absolute. Right. Right. Right, Don Tree. Right. Get back to it. All right. So this path, attention to the eye, is the direct path. All others are indirect ways. So he's not saying all other paths are not a path. They obviously are, but they indirect. This path of who am I, or you could say Advaita Vedanta. I guess you could say that. Really, you could say this Advaita Vedanta is the direct path. The first leads to the self. The first leads to the self, the others elsewhere. And even if the latter do arrive at the self, it is only because they led at the end to the first path, which ultimately carries them to the goal. Do you hear that? He says, let's read that again. Hold up. The first leads to self, right? So the path that he's talking about, it leads you to self. The others elsewhere. And if the latter do arrive at the self, so even if you took the other path and you still arrive at the self, it is only because they led at the end to the first path. So it means ultimately, regardless of what they was doing, they was leading back. The other path that they thought they was taking ultimately led them back to the path of the self, which ultimately carries them to the goal. So in the end, the aspirants must adopt the first path. Why not do so now? So, what do I always say? Spirituality it has always been about know thyself. Know thyself has always been the name of the game. At least that's what my OGs told me. And when I read mythology, when I go through a code, when I go through all the other shit, that's all it's talking about. But it's leading you to other places, go do other shit. And that's why I say the beginning of the journey is the end of the journey. At the beginning, you need to know that you know about know thyself, and at the end, it's still going to be know thyself. So he's saying the same thing. Why not do so now? Why waste time? That is to say, other techniques may sometimes bring one to an inner state of stillness in which self-attention or self-awareness inadvertently takes place. So that will happen. But it is a very roundabout way of reaching the self. So it's like I'd rather walk around the house 3 times just to walk through the front door. You still gonna walk through the front door, but you ain't gotta waste your time doing that, right? Sri Ramana maintained that other techniques could only take one to the place where self-inquiry starts. Cosmic Puzzle Piece, what's happening, my guy? Sri Ramana maintained that other techniques or other paths could only take one to a place where self-inquiry starts. And so he never endorsed them unless he felt that particular questioner was unable or unwilling to adopt the self-inquiry. So you need to understand that when we read these books, you will see on one page he told somebody something else, and then over here he tells somebody something else. It's not that he's contradicting what he's saying, but he can see this person is trying to get it, but through their level of understanding that they have now, they can't get it. So I have to tell him a different way that ultimately will lead him to be able to get it. This is illustrated by a conversation in Sri Ramana Gita, an early collection of his questions and answers, in which Sri Ramana explained in detail why self-inquiry was the only way to realize the self. After listening carefully to Sri Ramana's explanation, the questioners were still unwilling to accept that inquiry was the only route to self. And so he asked if there were any other methods by which the self could be realized. Sri Ramana replied, and this is his reply: the goal is the same for the one who meditates on an object and one who practices self-inquiry. The goal is the same. One attains stillness through meditation, the other through knowledge. One strives to attain something, the other seeks the one who strives to attain. Please, 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 please understand that statement there. That is understanding non-duality in a nutshell, right? Let's read that again. Man, what you just said, Mathra, what Mothra just said. You need to have a burning desire to know the self. You know what I'm saying? And you can't pump fake it. You can pump fake it to the world, but because it's not about the so-called world. It's about what you know inwardly. You see what I'm saying? That's why when they talk about gurus, one never saying, "Oh, he ain't no guru. You ain't no guru." Or he ain't realized himself. He ain't realized himself. I really realized himself. He ain't realized. They don't do that. Why do they not do that? Because self-realization does not have a particular tradition of the way a person could act. It comes in all shapes, forms, and sizes. It comes in all shapes, forms, and sizes. There are no ways that you're going to be able to look at somebody and tell that they're self-realized. See, we looking from this lens from motherfuckers being in America, so we see them sitting, you know what I'm saying, in lotus position, and people sitting around them, and they got a beard, and they got shit wrapped around their head. You automatically gonna take it like that, because your senses get appeased by shit like that. Oh, he looks and he's saying clever things, so it seems to be. A motherfucking be self-realized and be out here on the streets, and you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. You can't place no limitations on this shit. Awareness is awareness, not behavior. That's it. I think Mothra said this on one of my posts, and Zero always says this. Before self-realization, I chopped the tree and I carried the wood. After self-realization, I chopped the tree and I carried the wood. It could be a nigga working in a mall. It could be your fucking Uber driver. You don't know. All you need to know is your goddamn self or the self, right? So let's read this profound statement again. The goal is the same for the one who meditates on an object and the one who practices self-inquiry. Listen, one attains stillness through meditation, the other through knowledge. One strives to obtain, one of them strive to attain knowledge, right? One strives to attain knowledge, but the other one, so he's talking about the other one, right? The one who meditates on an object. That person is striving to obtain knowledge, right? Spiritual path. Let's go. We got a spiritual path to go through. My journey, right? One is striving to attain something, but the other one seeks the one who strives to attain. Nobody's doing that question. Nobody's asking it. Who is this one who is meditating? Who is this one that has a spiritual life? Who is that? Who's that who's struggling trying to attain God realization? That's the question. Who is that? Who is that that's doing that? That's what self-inquiry is. Because the other thing, and then he'll get into it, the other is a play of the ego. I know some people might not like that, but that's what's being said. That's a play of the ego. We'll get into that. The former takes a longer time, but in the end attains the self. So that's why I say, like, there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? It's for whatever is for you is for you. It's going to depend on your mental temperament, right? Not wanting to shake the faith of a man who had a known predilection for subject object meditation, and having already ascertained that he was unwilling to take up the self-inquiry. Sri Ramana encouraged him to follow his own chosen method by telling him that it will enable him to reach the self. So this is what I'm saying. This is why I posted that video. Like, okay, forgive me, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because this path is so quite cut, dry, clear to me. And I speak about it in a way that, you know what I'm saying, which is still righteous in its own right. But the thing is I'm not trying to discourage anybody from doing anything that they see fit. Because you may take the way that I say things, you may take it can be taken like that. I had to zoom out and observe my own self on the video. Like, damn, okay, I can see how a motherfucker can take it like that. But yeah, obviously, personally, you got to deal with that on your own. But what's being said needs to be said, and who it works for, it works for. That's why you motherfuckers is here. That's why it's not 100,000 people on this live stream. So he told him. So I don't. He didn't want to discourage him. Dude, and I already went through all these predilections, and I already had done his assertions. So the self-inquiry is not working for him. Like, okay, boom, you can do this. Here's a method that's in the ramifications of your path that you've already chosen, right? In Sri Ramana's view, any method is better than no method, since there is always a possibility that it will lead to self-inquiry. He gave many other similar replies to other people for similar reasons. These replies, which indicate that methods other than self-inquiry or surrender could result in self-realization, should not be taken at face value, since they were only given to people who were not attracted to self-inquiry and who wanted to follow their own methods. When he spoke to other devotees who are not attached to what he called indirect methods, he will usually refrain or reaffirm that self-attention was ultimately indispensable. So when he's talking to those who get it, he's speaking in a different manner. When he's talking to those who not, he's speaking to them in their own language. Although Sri Ramana vigorously defended his views on self-inquiry, he never insisted that anyone change their beliefs or practices. And if he was unable to convince his followers to take up self-inquiry, he would happily give advice on other methods. When I talk to people, I don't know what y'all perceive, but when I'm talking to people on a regular basis, on this motherfucker, we going in. But on a regular basis, and if we even get across some type of spiritual conversation, it's not a fucking pilgrimage. I'm not going out trying to fucking recruit people for knowledge of fucking self. I talk to them from that standpoint where they're at. Case in point, I just talked to my dog, my homie. He doing a 15-year sentence, state time. You know what I'm saying? And that's my brother. Like, nigga, some niggas broke in my house and stole all my clothes and my shoes. Nigga, his mama bought me outfits type shit. Like, that's my brother. And he been gone damn near 9 years now. You know what I'm saying? And we ain't talked in about 2 years. But every time we talk, it's that type of talk. Y'all know how I talk. So we get on that conversation. We just catching up, playing catch up, and then it get to the spiritual shit. You know what I'm saying? And he's at a different place, but he's still able to take in what I'm saying. For one, that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? So for one, that's my brother, that's my dog. So he gonna take in what it can be said, but I'm also aware that he's already put out there in the air where he's at with it spiritually and what he's tapping into, or what he's been led to, which is totally the opposite of what I'm talking about here. So do you think I was like, yeah, bro, but nah, bro, that shit fake, bro. This the real shit over here, what you need to be learning. Why would I do some shit like that? Why would I discourage him when he just told me he has been getting led to go and study this book and this understanding or this faith or this spiritual system? Why the fuck would I discourage him from doing that and come over like, nah, bro, you need to be over here with me or like he in jail, nigga. Why would I do some shit like that, even if he was free? He's already telling me, so what did I do? Encourage him to go the path that he's already, what's the name? Because he was in between, like, man, I don't know. I'm thinking I'm getting led. I said, bro, stop that, because that's the ego. Because you done rejected that spiritual system back in the day. Now you the ego kind of feels funny, and it wants to say it thinks that it should be going this way. No, nigga, go that way. Take that path. That's exactly where you're supposed to be going. I'm not converting niggas. My brother, my thug, my homie, my it don't matter. I'm not converting niggas. Go the path that fits. And I don't know. I just giving that for a real life example. And then I'm happy I talked to my nigga today. That shit warm a little heart up. Got to talk to him. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talked to him in 2 years, so it's good that he have his head on straight while he's in there. You know what I'm saying? Because we had that conversation about, like, bro, some people just got to bump their heads. more times than others to finally get to what the point they need to be at and in the right direction they need to be. I had to bump my head enough times, but a lot of my friends bump their heads way more fucking times than me. I'm like, okay, nigga, I see you done bumped your head 30 million times. That ain't the way I'm going. That ain't the way I'm going. Because you can't tell me a little nigga from the streets of Chattanooga, Tennessee, gang banging, running the streets, drug selling, and running with robbers and killers was going to be on YouTube talking about fucking non-duality. Me and him had that conversation. He's like, bro, when you was little Joe from 3-4, I couldn't nowhere near told you. Anybody would have told you you'd be doing that shit. Nigga, you wouldn't have believed him. I wouldn't have believed him. I'm like, hell no, nigga. I would have told that nigga, fuck that, nigga. I'm going to be a rapper. I'm going to blow up way before then. That's what we was on back then. But, you know, I digress. All right. In the conversations in this chapter, he is mostly answering questions from devotees who wanted advice on conventional forms of meditation. Look, there go the word again that bro was just talking about. Danya. There you go right there. Who wanted advice on conventional forms of danya, of meditation, or danya, right? Ain't that the word bro been using? Yeah. Okay. Concentration. There. Oh, he put it in up there. I didn't even see that. Bro put it in. There you go. Concentration. So that one-pointedness back, right? So even though I was kind of off, but still on the same aspect, that one-pointedness. Oh, god damn it. Trav would have cussed me out if he was on here. Trav would have cussed me out if we was on here. Good thing Trav ain't on here. So never mind. In giving this advice, he usually defined meditation as concentration on one thought to the exclusion of all others. But he sometimes gives it a higher definition by saying that keeping the mind fixed on the self was true meditation. So there you go. This is a non-dual meditation. It's not keeping your mind focused on Ganesh. It's not keeping your mind focused on a yantra. It's keeping the attention focused on the self. Which you got to think about it. It's hard, right? Because there's no image of the self. There's no logo for the self. And the mind wants something that it can attach itself to. It needs something that it can pick up with its senses, the visuals. It needs something to focus on that's tangible. The latter practice is really another name for self-inquiry, right? So self-inquiry. Listen. So what did he just say? The real meditation is meditation on the self. And what did he also just say? That basically focusing on the self. And the latter practice is a real name for inquiry. Is another name for self-inquiry. So by doing the practice of asking, who am I? Not like a fucking student, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? We already ran through that, so we should be all past that. But the practice of self-inquiry is meditation. Let that sink in. Y'all have heard it here before, but that is meditation itself. So it's not that you have to sit down, cross your legs, close your eyes, and ask, who am I? You can be doing this shit continuously throughout the day. When you get mad, do that inquiry. When you get happy, do that inquiry. Who is this I that's happy? Who is this I that's mad? It's a meditation. It's a constant practice. What did he say at the beginning? The best meditation is that which continues in all three states. In all three states. All three states, buddy. So the latter practice is really another name for self-inquiry. For as he explained in one of his early written works, always keeping the mind fixed in the self alone is self-inquiry, whereas meditation is thinking oneself to be Brahman. Let's say that again. Always keeping the mind fixed in self alone is called self-inquiry, whereas meditation is thinking oneself to be Brahman. All right. All right. All right. Damn, I'm missing comments. That joy is something no physical pleasure in this world can match, even if one were to live for 100,000 years. I agree. I agree. Just be the light. That's all. That's it. Oh, my boy T, what's happening, T? What's my dog? My dog, what's happening? What's happening, Captain? What's happening? T say a logo for the self is crazy. Facts. Because that's all this shit that's all this shit is. It's a goddamn logo. Even the words that we're using, calling it Brahmin, calling it the cosmic P. It's a logo, bro. It's not that. It's a representation. So if you have a logo for fucking Nike, Nike is not the logo. You know that. Facts. Talk that sass. Yeah, that's American. That's our way over here of saying salute when we say talk that sass. R.I.P. Brother Penny, man. Let's see what Coop say. Coop says, this is not a dialogue between the questioner and Maharashi. This is a dialogue between the mind and the fucking eternal self. God damn, boy, if I had my soundboard, I'd do the sirens. Come on, man. Come on, man. It's a dialogue between the mind and the self. Now let's actually start the chapter. Let's get into it. Questioner, what is the difference between meditation, adanya, and investigation, vicharya? Right? What's the difference? Both amount to the same. Those unfit for investigation must practice meditation. In meditation, the aspirant forgetting himself meditates, I am Brahman, or I am Shiva, and by this method holds on to Brahman or Shiva. This will ultimately end with a residual awareness of Brahman or Shiva as being. He will then realize that this is pure being, that is, the self. See what I'm saying? So one is taking you directly to the self. One is using the logo or the placeholder called Brahman or called Shiva, just a placeholder. Brahman and Shiva are a placeholder. Ganesh is a placeholder. The other one takes you straight past the placeholder, straight directly to the self. He who engages in investigations starts by holding on to himself and by asking himself, who am I? The self becomes clear to him. Mentally, imagining oneself to be the supreme reality, which shines as existence, consciousness, bliss, is meditation. Do you hear that? Let's read that again. He who engages in investigation starts by holding on to himself and by asking himself, who am I? The self becomes clear to him. Mentally imagining oneself to be the supreme reality, mentally imagining himself to be the supreme reality, which shines as existence, consciousness, bliss, that is meditation. Fixing the mind on the self so that the unreal seed of delusion will die is inquiry. Are we seeing the difference here? Are we seeing the difference here? One, he's saying, is a delusion and a play of the mind. The other one is a breaking down and the destruction of the mind. Those are two different things. Those are two different things, y'all. Damn. What bro say? Let's see. Damn. I can't even. If anybody wants to screenshot that and look up that word, and if y'all get the chance, because I ain't gonna be able to copy and paste that over. It'll take too much time for me to try to spell it out. Somebody, anybody in the chat, right there, what I just posted up. If y'all could Google that and type that in the chat. If y'all can Google that and type that in the chat. I'll leave. Yeah. Y'all can Google that and type that in the chat. Whoever meditates upon the self in whatever bhava or mental image attains its image only. Listen, whoever meditates upon the self in whatever bhava or mental image attains it only in that image. Those peaceful ones, hold up, those peaceful ones who remain quiet without any such bhava or mental image attain the noble and in the unqualified state of Kaivalya, the formless state of the self. The formless state of the self. So Don Tree says it means the fruits of contemplative life. Huh. Okay. I might have to look into this some more. The fruits of contemplative life. The fruits of contemplative life. Damn. Okay. Yeah, that's some work. Let me just write that down. Write that down. So I can go back and look over it. All right. Bit. Question. The questioner, my bad. Meditation is more direct than investigation because the former holds on to the truth, whereas the latter sifts truth from the untruth. Meditation is more direct than investigation because the former, so meditation, holds on to the truth, where the latter shifts the truth from the untruth. It sifts the truth from the untruth. So, what self inquiry is doing is going through the false and sifting out the truth. For the beginner, okay, the questioner asks, that's, oh, my bad. That's what the questioner is saying. Let's see. Now, the answer from Maharashi says this. For the beginner, meditation on a form is more easy and agreeable, right? More easy and agreeable. Let's see. Because I'm reading the comments. Let me get back. For the beginner, meditation on a form is more easy and agreeable. Practice of it leads to self-inquiry, which consists in sifting the reality from unreality. What is the use of holding on to the truth when you are filled with antagonistic factors? Listen, y'all. What is the use of holding on to the truth when you are filled with antagonistic factors? You know what that mind do to you. That mind get to antagonizing your ass with all those concepts. Self-inquiry directly leads to realization by removing the obstacles. No obstacles will apprehend you. Self-inquiry directly leads to realization by removing the obstacles, which make you think that the self is not already realized. Do you hear that? So one is meditating, trying to realize the self, and the other is already telling you, hey, remove all of this shit. The self is already realized. It's already realized. Meditation differs according to the degree of advancement of the seeker. Meditation differs according to the degree of the advancement of the seeker. If one is fit for if one is fit for it, one might directly hold on to the thinker, and the thinker will then automatically sink into his source, which is pure consciousness, the cosmic P. If one cannot directly hold on to the thinker, one must meditate on God. And in due course, the same individual will have become sufficiently pure to hold on to the thinker and to sink into the absolute being. See how they both lead to the same shit? They both lead to the same shit. Meditation is possible only if the ego is kept up. You hear that? I didn't say that. He said that. Meditation is possible only if the ego is kept up. There is the ego and the object meditated upon. The method is therefore indirect because the self is only one. Seeking the ego, that is its source, the ego disappears. And what is left over is the self. This method is the direct one. This method is the direct one. We're going to read that again. The method is therefore indirect because the self is only one. Why is he saying that? Because he's talking about the ego and then meditating on God. And then this one is saying the self is only one. There is no ego in God. Seeking the ego, you just search for the ego. That it you seeking the ego, that is its source. The ego disappears. So the ego disappears into the one, because ultimately there is no ego. What is left over is the self. The method is a direct one. Just take that ego straight to the source instead of having it focus on objects. Question: there is no way found to go inward by means of meditation. Where else are we now? Where else are we now? No, listen. The question is said there is no way found to go inward by means of meditation. Where else are we now? Our very being is that. Being so, we are ignorant of it, the questioner says. Here we go. Ignorant of what? And whose is the ignorance? Who is the owner of this ignorance? If ignorant of the self, are there two selves? Who is this one that's ignorant? We got to ask these type of questions. Oh yeah, we gods, but we just forgot. Who is this who forgot? Ourself. We forgot ourselves. Who is this self? There has to be two selves. There has to be the one who forgot the self and the one that is the self. Who is that two selves? We don't ask those questions. We just go along when we hear those cutesy words. That motherfucker sound real cute to you, don't it, boy? There are not two selves. The feeling of limitation cannot be denied, though, due to limitations. We'll see what the OG say. Limitation is only in the mind. Do you feel it in deep sleep? You exist in sleep. You do not deny your existence then. The same self is there, here and now, in the wakeful state. You are now saying that there are limitations. What has now happened is that there are these differences between the two states. The differences are due to the mind. There was no mind in sleep, whereas it is active now. The self exists in the absence of the mind also. Although it is understood, it is not realized though. Maharshi says, it will be by and by with meditation. Questioner: meditation is with mind. How can it kill the mind in order to reveal the self? Meditation is sticking to one thought. That single thought keeps away other thoughts. Distraction of the mind is a sign of its weakness. By constant meditation, it gains strength. That is to say, the weakness of fugitive thought gives place to the enduring background, free from thought. The weakness of fugitive thought gives place to the enduring background, free from thought. This expanse, devoid of thought, is the self. Mind in purity is the self. Missing some come. Okay. Martha said, who is meditating? Facts. No, for real. It must be two cells. Must be two cells. Must be two sides. Dun da 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 da. Who mentioned knowledge of self and didn't acknowledge me? Hey. Zero says the mind that gets attached to a personality. Come on now. The mind that gets attached to personality. Let's do this shit. So here's another questioner. What is danya, or what is meditation? It is abiding as oneself. Listen, it is abiding as oneself without swerving in any way from one's real true nature and without feeling that one is meditating. That's the definition he gave to meditation. What is the difference between danya and samadhi? Danya is achieved through deliberate mental effort. In samadhi, there is no such effort. What are the factors to keep in view of danya? It is important for one who is established in the self, or atman, or atma nishtha, to see that he does not swerve in the least from this absorption. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? Do you hear that? Do you hear that? It is important for one who is established in the self to see that he does not swerve in the least from this absorption. By swerving from his true nature, he may see before him bright effulgences, or hear some unusual sounds, or regard as the real visions of God's appearing within or outside himself. He should not be deceived by these and forget himself. So all that seeing God and seeing the goddesses and all of that shit popping up and want to see that, from this standpoint of view, you have swerved away from the self. I might swerve on a nigga, whoa, whoa. You just swerve from the self. But if that does happen, don't forget the self. Don't forget. Yeah, that's basically what he said. That's what meditation is. Because the only thing you can observe is the contents of the mind. The mind is content, right? Whatever content you can see, think, and whatever you can conceive of is only the mind. And you can only direct it towards an object. But here, I'm not sure if you're just making a statement, but I'm going to say this for people who are watching. But here, what's being said here is, we're not, the point of inquiry is not to meditate or to focus on the object. You're focusing on the one who is observing the object. Who is that who is observing? Who is that who is meditating? That's the question. Zero says, in a really deep, profound states of awareness, like a profound sleep or meditation, there is no one that is aware, just the awareness itself, without judgment in the experience. Facts. No, tree say stand on principle. Don't be tempted by the illusions of the mind, right? Swerve from the self down to the astral. Facts, Mothra. Facts. That was good. That's good. Down to the astral with that shit. Let's get it. If y'all watching, please hit that like button. I see we got some more people in here. Y'all watching? Hit that like button. God damn it. Nigga got a wedgie. What Coop just said? What Coop just say? Reside in the silence between the thoughts. That's what I was telling y'all. Once you do that, when you get to doing that, you get to realize what that silence automatically is, what that silence really is. It's damn near indescribable. And it can be in short bursts. Obviously, from understanding, you do it, the more you get it, the more you get that realization or experience of that silence. But when you find that silence in between thoughts, that silence in between the thoughts, my niggas, anything you can sense is illusions casted by the mind to keep the ego satisfied, comfortable, and comfortable. Don't get too comfortable. Change is constant because the mind is constantly changing. So the question is, how is meditation to be practiced? Meditation is, truly speaking, atmanishta, to be fixed as the self. So to be focused and fixed and abiding and standing on the principle of self is basically what he's saying. SOP. That sentence right there says SOP, to be fixed as the self. But when thought cross the mind an effort is made to eliminate them, the effort is usually termed meditation. Here it is. Meditation is truly speaking. What it really is it means to be fixed on the self. But when thoughts cross the mind and an effort is made to eliminate them, the effort is usually termed meditation. The effort is usually termed meditation. Atmanishta is your real nature. Remain as you are. Remain as you are. That is the aim. And Kalyana, no, I never heard of those teachings. Pitaka Dharma. Oh no, I never heard of those teachings. But question, but thoughts come up. Is our effort meant to eliminate thoughts only? Yes. Meditation being on a single thought, the other thoughts are kept away. Meditation is only negative in effect in as much as thoughts are kept away. It is said that Atma Samsta Mana Krita. I can't say those words, so forgive me. Oh, Lord Buddha Dharma. No. Okay. Hold up, y'all. Hold up. We flowing. Hold up. But thoughts come up. Is our effort meant to eliminate thoughts only? Yes. Meditation being on a single thought, the other thoughts are kept away. Meditation is only negative in the effect in as much as thoughts are kept away. It is said that fixing the mind in the self, but the self is unthinkable. Fixing the mind on the self, but he's saying the self is unthinkable. Why do you wish to meditate? This is Maharashi speaking again. Why do you wish to meditate at all? Because you wish to do so, you are told that fixing the mind on the self, you are told that fixing the mind on the self. Why do you not remain as you are without meditating? Is the question, right? What is that mana? The mind, right? We should know mana or manas over here. What is that mind? When all thoughts are eliminated, it becomes fixed on the self. Questioner. If a form is given, I can meditate on it and other thoughts are eliminated. But the self is formless. So he's basically spitting here why he has a problem with focusing on the self, because it doesn't have a form. It has nothing that the mind has nothing it can attach to. So he says, meditation on forms or concrete objects is said to be danya or meditation, right? Whereas the inquiry into the self or vicharya, inquiry or nidhi yasana, uninterrupted awareness of being. Questioner. There is more pleasure in danya than in sensual enjoyments. Yet the mind runs after the latter and does not seek the former. Why is that so? Answer. Because pleasure or pain are aspects of the mind only. So when we talk about pleasure, joy, happiness, these are all aspects of the mind only. Our essential nature is happiness. But we have forgotten the self and imagined that the body or the mind is the self. It is the wrong identity that gives rise to misery. What is to be done? The mental tendency is very ancient and has continued for innumerable past births. Hence, it has grown strong. That must go before the essential nature, happiness, asserts itself. It must go, my niggas, my nagas. How is danya or meditation practice? With eyes open or closed? We typically hear close your eyes, right? And it's a reason for that. It may be done either way. The point is that the mind must be inverted and kept active in its pursuit. Sometimes it happens that when your eyes are closed, the latent thoughts rush forth with vigor. We all know that feeling, right? Close them eyes, all them thoughts from the other day, last week, they start coming in. It may also be difficult to invert the mind with the eyes open. It requires strength of the mind to do so. The mind is contaminated when it takes in objects. Otherwise, it is pure. The main factor in dunya or meditation is to keep the mind active in its own pursuit without taking in external impressions or thinking of other matters. Question: Bhagavan, whenever I meditate, I feel great heat in the head, and if I persist, my whole body burns. What is the remedy? If concentration is made with the brain, sensations of heat and even headache ensue. So he's saying when that happens, you actually concentrating on the physical brain. Concentration has to be made in the heart, which is cool and refreshing. Relax, and your meditation will be easy. So that means people who have an A, he's saying they're not relaxed. So that means probably their mind is like, I gotta get this, I gotta get this, I gotta meditate, I gotta get this, I gotta get this, I gotta get this, I gotta get this. You burning up your processor. You burning up the processor. It should be smooth and easy. You should be able to relax. Keep your mind steady by gently warding off all intruding thoughts without strain. That is a practice that you should be having. When those thoughts come through, you should get to the point where you can just observe them and have no emotional attachment or response to them. And you'll start seeing those thoughts start to drop off. Let's see. Okay, the tree gave a breakdown of that. To purify conduct, concentrate the mind, understand reality as it is, and read. Oh, and liberation unfolds naturally. Okay, I like that. He said that's a Buddha teaching. You can purify conduct by realizing you are beyond all concepts. Thoughts and emotion, blissful, jollity, happiness is natural. That's it. And that's exactly what's being done. That's exactly what he's saying. Exactly what he's saying. Not natural. It just is. It just is. All is well. Facts. Facts. Facts, Don Tree. Keep your mind steady by gently warding off all intruding thoughts, but without strain. And soon you will succeed. Questioner: how do I prevent myself from falling asleep in meditation? If you try to prevent yourself, it will mean thinking in meditation. So if you're trying to stop yourself from falling asleep in meditation, that means you're thinking in meditation, which must be avoided. Underline that, which must be avoided. But if you slip, oh my bad, but if you slip into sleep while meditating, the meditation will continue even during and after sleep. Now listen, I want to have how many of y'all have had that experience? I've had that experience, and one of my most profound, I ain't got to say profound, one of my most recent memories that come back up is when I got introduced to Top Washuti by Don Tree. Shout out to Don Tree. But by Travis Majors doing that Top Washuti meditation. I fell asleep. I went into sleep while I was doing that meditation, and that meditation continued in my motherfucking sleep. Now I want to get into the contents of it, but that meditation continued into my sleep. That meditation continued into my sleep. And when I woke up, it still felt like a meditative phase that I was coming out of, coming back into the so-called world. But nonetheless, all right, yet being a thought, sleep must be got. Listen, check this out though, because he's going to continue that. Yet, so even after he said that, there's a yet. Being a thought, sleep must be got rid of. For the final natural state has to be obtained consciously in Yagara, or the waking state, without the disrupting thought. Waking and sleeping are mere pictures on the screen of the native thought-free state. Let them pass unnoticed. Let them pass. That's what we mean. Let nature do what it does. Let the body-mind complex do what it's going to do. You are the self observing this. You are the observer. That's it. That's all you will ever be. That's all you have always been. Question: what is to be meditated upon? Anything that you prefer. This must be a different type of student. Shiva, Vishnu, Agatri, or Agatri are seen to be equally infectious. Which should I meditate upon? Here's the answer. Anyone you like best. They are all equal in their effect. But you should stick to one. How do I meditate? Concentrate on that one whom you like best. If a single thought prevails, all other thoughts are put off and finally eradicated. So long as diversity prevails, there are bad thoughts. When the object of love prevails, only good thoughts hold the field. Therefore, hold on to one thought only. Danya is the chief practice. Meditation is the chief practice. Danya means fight. As soon as you begin meditating on other thoughts, as soon as you begin meditating, they should have put a comma there. As soon as you begin meditating, other thoughts will crowd together, gather force, and try to sink the single thought to which you had tried to hold. The good thoughts must gradually gain strength by repeated practice. After it has grown strong, the other thoughts will be put to flight. This is the battle royale, always taking place in meditation. And if you know, you know. It's taking place in the waking state as well. One wants to rid himself, or one wants to rid oneself of misery. It requests, if one wants to rid himself of misery, it requires peace of mind, which means absence or perturbation, owning to all kinds of thoughts. Peace of mind is brought about by Danya alone, by meditation alone. Yeah, hold up. Question. Since Sri Bhagavan says that the self may function at any of the centers or chakras while it sits in the heart, is it not possible that by the practice of intense concentration or meditation between the eyebrows, the center may become the seat of the self? Answer. Any consideration about the seat of the self is theoretical. If you fix your attention on a place in the body, right? That's all theory. If you fix your attention on any place in the body. Remember what he said about the heart. Some people tell people to focus on the heart chakra center because they're so attached to the body, right? So if you're fixing your attention on that, it's theoretical if you're focusing on anything within the body. You consider yourself as the subject, the seer, and the place where you fix your attention becomes the object or the scene. This is merely bhavana or mental imagery. When, on the contrary, you see the seer himself, you merge in the self and you become one with it. That is the heart. That is the fucking heart right there. When you see the seer himself, you merge in the self and you become one with it. That is the heart, not the heart chakra sitting in the middle of your heart. Kalyana says you don't need to close your eyes to meditate. mentally reflect on Amma, or Amme. All beings be free from anger. Oh, he said to focus on may all beings be free from anger. Slowly and repeatedly, many times. If done correctly, the mind will attain concentration or samadhi. So there's a tip. There's the tip he just gave. Rock out with your cock out. No did it. Like the king like the king who was told meditate on his favorite bracelet. The objects does not matter. That's it. Don Tree said I almost went blind doing that shit. Don Tree said I was focusing all my energy on the third eye, and my vision went blurry. Damn. Let's get to it. Now I will, Kayana. I will. I wrote it down. So you think I'm bullshitting. It looks terrible, but it's written down. I ain't gonna lie to you. I got it. So I'm gonna be looking it up. So, questioner says, is practice of concentration between the eyebrows advisable? Uh-oh. The final result of the practice of any kind is meditation. Of any kind of meditation is the object on which the seeker fixes his mind. What the fuck? Why don't I put commas in this shit? Seems like a long run-on sentence. The final result of the practice of any kind of danya is that the object on which the seeker fixes his mind ceases to exist as distinct and separate from the subject, right? So it automatically sinks you into it. They, the subject and object, become the one self, and that is the heart. Question. So why does Sri Bhagavan direct us to practice concentration on some particular center or chakra? Here we go. The answer is this. Yoga Sutra says that the Sahasrara, the chakra located in the brain, or the brain is the seat of the self. Purusha Sukta declares that the heart is the seat. To enable sadhaka to steer the clear of possible doubt, I tell him to take up the thread or the clue of I amness or I amness and follow it up to its source. Because firstly, it is impossible for anybody to entertain. It is impossible for anybody to entertain any doubt about this I notion, right? Nobody doubts that I exist. Is basically what he's saying. Whatever be the means adopted, the final goal is the realization of the source of I amness, which is the primary datum of your experience. So why not focus on that, right? If you therefore practice self-inquiry, you will reach the heart, which is the self. You shall. Here's the questioner. I practice Hatha Yoga, and I also meditate. I am Brahman. After a few moments of this meditation, a blank prevails. The brain gets heated, and a fear of death arises. What should I do? Who is that getting scared? I ain't even gonna read the next one. Who is that that's getting scared, y'all? Is it him who's getting scared? It can't be. It's the ego. The ego fears death because it does not know. It's something that it does not know. It knows images and concepts and gods and goddesses and demons and all of that shit. But it's afraid once you get to that blankness. He says, what should I do? Bhagavan says, I am Brahman is only a thought. Who says it? Who is that who's saying it? Brahman itself does not say that. What need is there for it to be said? Nor can the real I say so, for I always abides as Brahman. To be saying it is only a thought. Whose thought is it? All thoughts are from the unreal. I, that is the I thought. Remain without thinking. So long as there is a thought, there will be fear. Question. As I go on thinking of it, there is forgetfulness. The brain becomes heated, and I am afraid. Yes, the mind is concentrated in the brain, and hence you get a hot sensation there. It is because of the I thought. When the I thought arises, fear of death arises simultaneously. With regard to forgetfulness, so long as there is a thought, there will be forgetfulness. As long as there is a thought, there will be forgetfulness. As long as you have a thought, there will be forgetfulness. It has to, right? That should make fucking common sense. As long as you have a thought, there will be forgetfulness. So all the knowledge that you gain will one day be forgotten. Yeah. All the profound spiritual knowledge you got, concepts and words and meanings, they're all going to be forgotten one day. First, there is a thought, I am Brahman. Then forgetfulness supervenes. Forgetfulness and thought are the I thought only. Hold on to it and it will disappear like a phantom. What remains over is the real I, and that is the self. I am Brahman is an aid to concentration since it keeps off other thoughts. When that one thought alone persists, see whose thoughts it is. It will be found to be from I. So once you figure out who that thought is coming from, what you end up finding out that it is found to be that it comes from the I. From where is the I thought? Probe into it. The I thought will vanish and the supreme self will shine forth of itself. No matter or no further effort is needed. Don't that sound so simple? Don't sound easy though, but it sounds very simple. When the real I remains alone, it will not be saying I am Brahman. When the real I remains alone, it will not be saying I am Brahman, I am Shiva, I am Shakti, or I am God, or I'm a demon, or I'm left hand. It won't be saying none of that. So you're not hearing the higher self. You're not hearing the self. But that's another story. Let's stop. Does a man go on repeating, I am a man? Unless he is challenged, why should he declare himself a man? You always hear people talking about, I'm a man. I'm a grown ass man. I'm a grown ass woman. Why should he declare himself a man? Does anyone mistake themselves for an animal that he should say, no, I'm not an animal. I'm a man. So do men have to, why men run around like I'm a man? Oh, I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm a man. Like, nigga, who you trying to convince? Or woman, I'm a woman. I'm a woman. Who you trying to convince? A dog don't go around saying I'm a dog. I'm a dog. I'm a dog. Birds, I'm a bird. I'm a bird. I'm a bird. Like, nigga, you ain't that don't even make sense. Why you gotta keep saying that? Similarly, Brahman or I being the only existent reality, there is no one there to challenge it. And so there is no need by repeating, I am Brahman. Why should one adopt the self-hypnotism by thinking on the unthinkable point? Why should one adopt this self-hypnotism by thinking on the unthinkable point? This is the question we're talking. Why not adopt other methods like gazing into light, holding the breath, hearing music, hearing internal sounds, repetition of the sacred syllable Om, or other mantras? Why should one do that? He says, light gazing stupefies the mind and produces catalepsy of the will for the time being, but it secures no permanent benefit. Breath control temporarily benumbs the will, but it is not permanent. It is the same while listening to sounds, unless the mantra is sacred and secures the help of the higher power to purify and raises and rise the thoughts. Let's read that again. It is the same thing listening to sounds. It is the same thing with listening to sounds. Unless the mantra is sacred and secures the higher or the help of higher power to purify and raise the thoughts. We are advised to concentrate on the spot in the forehead between the eyebrows. Is that right? Answer. Everyone is aware. I am. Leaving us aside that awareness one goes about in search for God. What? Leaving aside that awareness, they need to put a comma right there. So leaving aside that awareness, one goes about in search of God. What is the use of fixing one's attention between the eyebrows? It is mere folly to say that God is between the eyebrows. The aim of such advice is to help the mind concentrate. It is one of the forcible methods to check the mind and prevent its dissipation. It is forcibly directed into one channel. It is a help to concentration. But the best remains of realization and inquiry. Who am I? The present trouble is to the mind, and it must be removed by the mind only. It must be removed by the mind only. I do not always concentrate on the same center in the body. Sometimes I find it easier to concentrate on one center and sometimes another. And sometimes when I concentrate on one center, the thought of its own accord goes and fixes itself in another. Why is that? It may be because of past practices of yours, but in any case, it is immaterial on which center you concentrate, since the real heart is in every center and even outside the body. On whatever part of the body you may concentrate on, or whatever external object, the heart is there. I'm finna read out comments. Hold up. We almost at the end. And I need to goddamn stand up and stretch. You see a nigga yawning and shit. If it may be because of past, if it may, it may be because of past practice. We already read that. Can one concentrate on one thing at a time, on one, at one time on one center, and at another time on another? Or should I always concentrate constantly on the same center? As I have just said, there can be no harm, whatever you concentrate, because concentration is only a means of giving up thoughts. That's it. Whatever the center or object on which you concentrate, he concentrate he who concentrate is always the same. So no matter what you concentrate on, is he who concentrate is always the same. Some say that one should practice meditation on gross objects only. It may be disastrous if one continuously seeks to kill the mind. For whom is it disastrous? Can the disaster be a part of the self, unbroken? I? I is the infinite ocean. The ego is the I thought, remains only a bubble in it, and is called jiva, or individual soul. The bubble too is water, for when it bursts, it only mixes with the ocean. I like that. When it remains a bubble, it is still a part of the ocean. Listen, it is still a part of the ocean. The ego is still a part of the self. Ignorant of this simple truth, innumerable methods under different denominations such as yoga, bhakti, and karma. Each again with many modifications, are being taught with great skill and in intricate detail, only to entice the seekers and confuse their minds. So, as also are the religions and the sects and the dogmas. What are they all for? What are they all for? Only for knowing the self. They are aids and practices required for knowing the self. Objects perceived by the senses are spoken of as immediate knowledge. Objects perceived by the senses are spoken of as immediate knowledge. Can anything be as the direct self always experienced without the aid of the senses? Let's read that again. Can anything be as direct as the self always experienced without the aid of the senses? Sense perceptions can only be indirect knowledge and not direct knowledge. Only one's own awareness is direct knowledge. And that is the common experience of all, and that is the common experience of one and all. No aids are needed to know one's self. There are no aids needed to know oneself. There are no aids needed to know one's self. Kalanya says there are 20 Brahman realms. Oh, the lokas? The Brahma lokas? Five material realm, which have a body. The 4 immaterial realms, which have mind only, without a physical body. Coop says the ego fears death because its absence is chaos to it. That apparent chaos is actually the perfect absolute beyond all concepts and categories. Facts. The Martha says, damn, he makes it like searching for God is training wheels before true self-inquiry. Facts. Look what Coop just said. Damn, I ain't got no more chips or nothing, y'all. What will reality look like without the 5 senses? Pure unity. That's why I tell you, like the senses, the mind, the ego, whatever you want to call it, that is the great separator. That's the great divider. That's the great divider. So give me a second, y'all. I'm finna go grab these chips. Hold up. Do not leave, motherfucker. We finna get into the last chapter. Mantras and Japa. Hey, you know what? You ain't lying, Coop. Might need a Red Bull. I got a 5-hour energy. I'm finna go grab that. That may be more helpful. Real shit. But we gonna finish this shit. I tell you that now. Hold up, y'all. I'm the truth. All right, we back at it like a crack addict. Back at it like a crack addict. Got my 5 hour energy brought to you by 5 hour energy. 5 hour energy. Had a late night and an early morning. Niggas. Can y'all hear me? Hold up. Yo, yo, yo. Okay. Mike should be coming through. Oh, damn. I fucked up your freestyle Cosmic Buzzer piece. My bad. I'm supposed to be, damn, I was just freestyling. No, it's all good, Zero. That's what's up. I got to get my ass back to stretching. I'm gonna be a goddamn daddy. I'm gonna be chasing kids around the house and shit. Man, 2 kids, man. I gotta get back stretching. Gotta get back stretching my damn self. Caught problem. I didn't cop blocked on Carbon Puzzle Piece freestyle and shit. I don't know where everybody at, but I live in Texas now, and they got a super fucking store called HEB. And we in grocery shop yesterday, and they got some plantain. So those who know about plantain, got some plantain chips, and they sour cream and onion. These motherfuckers fat. Finish up this last 5 hour. I'm like money bag, yo. Now we up in here. So we're gonna get into mantras in Japa. Mantras in Japa. Mantras in Japa. And a little bit of blue raz ice, motherfucking vapory. Let's get into it. A mantra is a word or a phrase which has been given to a disciple by a guru, usually as part of an initiation rite. If the guru has accumulated spiritual power as a result of his realization or meditation, some of his power is transmitted into the mantra. Which one of you niggas wants some spiritual powers? You want some spiritual powers? And I'm telling all of y'all, mantra is this right here. Moose knuckle. Say moose knuckle all day. Repeat your mantra, moose knuckle, and your spiritual powers will be granted to you by Guru's grace. If the disciple repeats the word continuously, the power of the Guru is invoked in such a way that helps the disciple to progress towards the goal of self realization. Simple. Sri Ramana accepted the validity of this approach, but he very rarely gave out mantras himself, and he never used them as a part of an initiation ceremony. He did, on the other hand, speak highly of the practice of Nama Japa, of Nama Japa. What's that? The continuation, repetitious name of God. And he often advocated it as a useful aid for those who were following the path of surrender. All right? Devotion, surrender, bhakti. In chapter 1, it was pointed out that surrender to God or the self could be effectively practiced while can be effectively practiced by being aware at all times that there is no individual I acting, thinking. There is no individual I that is acting and thinking. Only a higher power which is responsible for all activities of the world. Let's read that again. God supposed to be talking. I thought you. God supposed to be thought. I thought you were gonna give a real, give a mantra for real. Moose knuckle. Moose knuckle. Oh shit. Moose knuckle. I just thought about what the fuck Sir Impeccable at, man. You're probably gonna catch this on the replay. All right. Let's read that again. So in chapter 1, it was pointed out that surrender to God or the self could be effectively practiced by being aware at all times. All times about what though? That there is no individual I that is thinking and acting. Only a higher power which is responsible for all activities of the world. Sri Ramana recommended Japa as an effective way of cultivating this attitude, since it replaces an awareness of an individual in the world with a constant awareness of a higher power. In its early stages, the repetition of the name of God is only an exercise in concentration and meditation. In early stages, the repetitious name of God is only an exercise in concentration and meditation. But with continued practice, a stage is reached, and where the repetition proceeds effortlessly, automatic, systematic, and continuously. This stage is not reached by concentration alone, but only by completely surrendering to the deity whose name is being repeated. To use the name of God, one must call upon him with the yearning and the unreservedly surrender oneself to him. Only after such surrender is the name of God continuously or constantly with a man. Right? Only after such surrender is the name of God constantly with a man. When Sri Ramana talked about this advanced stage of japa, there was almost a mystical dimension to his ideas. He would speak of the identity of the God. He would speak of the identity of the name of God with the self. And sometimes he would even say that when the self is realized, the name of God repeats itself effortlessly and continuously in the heart. This ultimate stage is only reached after the practice of japa merges into the practice of self attention. Sri Ramana usually illustrated that the necessity of the transmission by quoting from the words of Namdev, a 14th century Maharashtra saint. The all-pervading nature of the name can only be understood when one recognizes one's own I. Let's hear that. The all-pervading nature of the name can only be understood when one recognizes one's own I. When one's own name is not recognized, it is impossible to get the all-pervading name. This quotation comes from a short work by Namdev entitled The Philosophy of the Divine Name, and the full text is given in one of Sri Ramana's answers later in the chapter. Okay. He first discovered it in 1937. And for the last 13 years of his life, he kept a copy of it on a small bookshelf by his bed. He frequently read it out when visitors asked him about the nature of usefulness of the Japa. And from the number of times he spoke of it with approval, it is reasonable to assume that he fully endorsed its contents. Okay? Now, let's get into the question and answer part. So, because what is spirituality, y'all? Tips and tricks to get you back to the self. I don't want to just say what it is. That's what it is. Tips and tricks to get you back to self. To get you to uncover self. Let me say that. There ain't no back to like you left it. You always been a self. Always the P. Right. Don Tree says, imagine being the center. Right? Hold on. Because I was supposed to post this on threads. And I didn't, y'all. Hold up. Let me share this. Let everybody know on threads. Whoever wanted to show up. I just followed you back on threads, Zero. I see you just followed me. So, the questioner says, my practice has always been continuous japa of the names of God with the incoming breath in the name of Sai Baba with the outgoing breath. Simultaneously with this, I see the form of Baba always. Even in Bhagavan, I see Baba. Damn, where am I at? Now, should I continue this or change the method? As something from within says that if I stick to the name and form, I shall never go above name and form. But I can't understand what further to do after giving up the name and form. Will Bhagavan enlighten me on this point? That right there is it, right? The mind is not, y'all know this, it's hard for the mind to detach from name, form, and function. That's why you can't hear nobody tell you ain't no spiritual path. Because then what is there? It can't give it up. It don't want to give that type of shit up. Because that's the ultimate realization. Because on the relative level, yes, obviously there's a fucking spiritual journey and path. Because obviously there's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, right? Ultimately, there is no 7 days of the week. But relatively, yes, there's 7 days of the fucking week. So when you live in a life, of course you gotta go. You know what I'm saying? If I tell you, um, there's no 7 days of the week. But you what you talking about? Monday I gotta go to work. Tuesday my rent due. Thursday my car note due. So I still got a what's the name to it, but ultimately, nigga, there is no 7 days of the week. The mind can't function with that. The mind gonna still be like, okay, Wednesday and Thursday, I gotta do this. I gotta do this on Friday at 7 p.m. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Sunday, we gotta have Know Thyself Sunday. So let me get ready to get this together. That's not the ultimate truth. That's a relative truth, right? And even then, that can be questioned. Here's your answer. You may continue in your present method. When the japa becomes continuous, all other thoughts cease. And and one one is in one's true nature. What? Whoa. You may continue your present method. When japa becomes continuous, all other thoughts will cease. And one is in one's real nature, which is japa or danya, right? When we turn our mind outwards on things of the world and are therefore not aware of our real nature, being always japa. We're not aware that that's what we are. When by conscious effort of japa or danya, we call it, we prevent our mind from thinking of other things, then what remains is our real nature, which is japa. So long as you think you are name and form, you can't escape name and form in japa also. So it's no difference. Just because you do japa don't make no difference. Because you think you are name and form. So you're not going to go beyond name and form. So if you have a spiritual system that's constantly repetitive, talking about names, forms, you're never going to be able to go beyond name and forms. That's just complete fucking logic. That's just complete fucking logic. It's going to always be a symbol, a sigil, or a goddamn goddess or god, or there's going to always be some signs, symbols, names, and forms. That's just simple. You ain't got to think deep on that. So, same with name and form. If you think you are this name and you think you are this form, aka this body, then that's what you will always be. No matter what spiritual practice that you do, are you hearing me? No matter what ritual that you do, are you hearing me? No matter what goddess or god that you deal with, are you hearing me? No matter what demon that you deal with, do you hear me? That made somebody drop off. When you realize you are not name and form, the name and form will drop off themselves or will drop of themselves. There you go, right there. When you realize you are not name and form, the name and form will drop of themselves. No other effort is necessary. Japa and Danya will naturally and as a matter of course lead to it. What is now regarded as the means, Japa, will be found to be the goal. Name and God are not different. This is clearly shown in the teachings of Namdev. 1. The name permeates densely the sky and the lowest regions and the entire universe. Who can tell to what depth in the neither regions? Hold up. Whoa, who can tell what depths in the neither regions and to what height in the heavens it extends? The ignorant undergo 84 locks or 84 million of species of births, not knowing the essence of things. Nam Dev says the name is immortal. Do you hear that? Hey, okay, let's go. Let's run that back. The ignorant undergo 84 million species of births, nigga. Because I think that's common in Hindu mythology that there are 84 million species. You nigga, you had to go through all of them before you become a human. Nigga, imagine if the mind could hold all of the information of 84 million births. And niggas be want to do a past life reading. Nigga, you can't handle remembering all the shit that you've been through in this life. You motherfuckers want to know a past life? You motherfuckers want to know a past life, nigga? You niggas want to know a past life, nigga? You want to open up Pandora's box on that shit? Niggas be forgetting to put gas in their goddamn car. Niggas be forgetting to flush the goddamn toilet after they take a shit. Niggas forget to put their phone on the charger at night before they wake up in the morning and know they need their phone. You niggas want to remember past lives, nigga? And let alone, let's say you got 84 million past, no, 8.4 million past lives, nigga. Nigga, fuck them past lives. I'm gonna tell you right here, right now. Fuck them past lives. I don't give a fuck. If some information comes back from a past life, so well be it. But I'm not trying to obtain memory from a fucking past life, nigga. Fuck them. It happened. Or it didn't happen. I don't give a fuck. Right now, though. Right now, though, gang. What's happening right now? The now, though, gang. What's now, though? Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. No. I don't need all that shit. Right now, nigga. Motherfucking past life. 8.4 million. The ignorant undergo 8.4 of species of births, not knowing the essence of things. Namdev says the name is immortal. The name ain't going through births. Forms are innumerable, but the name is all that, nigga. Yeah. Two, the name itself is form. There is no distinction between name and form. God became manifest. Listen, God became manifest and assumed name and form. Hence the name the Vedas established. Beware, there is no mantra beyond the name. Those who say otherwise are ignorant. Namdev says that the name Kishava or Kishava, God Himself, this is known only to the loving devotees of the Lord. 3. The all-pervading nature of the name can only be understood when one recognizes one's own I. When one's own name is not recognized, it is impossible to get the all-pervading name. When one knows oneself, then one finds the name everywhere. I put that shit on threads. You can't know there's no way you can know other people if you don't know yourself. And when you know yourself, you will know that there are no other people. Or those so-called other people are you. So you will know no division. That is a fact. That's the same shit he just said here. When one knows oneself, then one finds the name everywhere. To see the name as different from the name created illusions. Namdev says, ask the saints. I want to ask them. Ask the saints. Let me see him. I can remember just a few stuffs of my most recent previous life and is a miss. And just one. Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck them. I don't feel like remembering the countless ways I violently dies. Thanks, but no. Facts, facts, facts. What Dontree always saying. Now here, now here, now here, nowhere. Home of the aware. Tight shit. Nah, I know what you meant, Marfa. I know what you meant. Zero said I cried for a whole week just by remembering my last death. The level of trauma that carries is crazy, but it's just the mind imprints. Facts. That's all it is. It's just the mental impressions. But that's all the mind is anyway, a bundle of mental impressions. And I've had that experience, which were what I believe to be a past life. So yeah, I'm good on knowing all that. On like, put it like this: I'm good on trying to continuously obtain what I did in my past life. If y'all been following my YouTube, it's about to be a year that I've been doing YouTube in January. But I started off telling my stories. Like I told y'all how out of nowhere it just ultimately came over me in January or February of 2024 that I no longer give a fuck about reincarnation. I had no logical reason to explain it. I couldn't tell you why. Because the common lore or the common rhetoric in spirituality is about reincarnation. And I'm not saying that it's not real or that it is. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is we were always talking about how to die and not to come back. Right? Getting up off of Earth, getting up off of this dimension, whatever the fuck the common rhetoric was around it. And I just felt the need to not care before I understood or heard of non-duality or Dvaita Vedanta. I just ultimately came into the realization like I don't give a fuck. Cause I was at a point I had a friend, me and her was talking, and at that time, shit, I was wanting to a past life reading. Then just woke up one morning like I don't give a fuck. I don't care no more. All I care about is what I do now. Now. Cause like what the fuck happened in the past that already happened it already is what it is. Tight shit, my boy just said right there. This my first life game. And then it's my last life. And then this ain't even my life. Come on, man. Come on now. So, you know, hey, I was telling y'all about that, but I forgot. So, yeah. And it's my last life. Fuck you talking about. Hey, for sure. For sure. You did. And that's what we on over here, bro. I love y'all niggas, bro. And wiggles. I mean, your niggas and your wiggles. And your women. Everybody. I love y'all, bro. I'm glad that we here. I'm glad that we had these meets, these talks. I'm finna tell y'all something, but I think, yeah, I ain't gonna tell y'all until it's cooked, baked, and ready. But I think we all gonna enjoy something I got coming up. But in due time, in due time. Because I told y'all nigga about to be a daddy, so I got other responsibilities that a man is supposed to be taking care of first. Which this is first, and that little nigga second. He gonna know that. But nonetheless, whatever else I'm trying to build up is gonna have to come after my little nigga and my family. But it never will not be ignored. It's gonna get done, and I can't wait to present it to y'all. Cause this, you know what I'm saying, this thing like shit like this is not going nowhere. This is a natural part of me. So while I'm being a family man, a good husband, and a good father, and all that shit, this shit is still all pervading through all of that. You gotta understand that. You know, I used to have those thoughts like, damn, I'm too far into the material world life, and I'm kind of abandoning my spiritual. That's none of that shit is true. You can never abandon this shit. This shit is always gonna be you. I found that out. That's what I found out to be my reality. And even those of the ones that I know that feel like they didn't got caught up in worldly life. It's like, right, no, bro. Once you take a bite of this forbidden fruit, boy, that shit is in you. This shit is in you. It ain't going nowhere. And that's what non-duality talks about too. Like it's not, You know what I'm saying? It's not in a rush to try to make sure I'm in alignment with my spirituality, duties, and shit. You always are this. That's why the name of this book is called what? Be as you are. You have been it the whole time. When you was a newborn, came out pissing and shitting, up to right now. Me eating Nashville hot chicken. And that shit burning my ass. But I keep eating it. You know what I'm saying? I'm still as I am, the self. Zero said that's so true. The only useful way to from remembering your past life is for evolution in this one. This life in the present is the only true one. Right, 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 right. You couldn't get off this motherfucking pee. You couldn't sit down. You couldn't do nothing but stand on this pee, even if you didn't want to. You can't leave this shit. This shit is not gonna leave you, gang. I don't give a fuck what you do, where you go. It's in you. I'm talking to all you motherfuckers. This shit in you, not on you. Cause I talk to all you motherfuckers outside of YouTube, so I know this shit is in you and it's not on you. Coop said, I seen too much. Come on, man. Come on, man. So, 4. No one can realize the name by the practice of knowledge, meditation, or austerity, right? No one can realize the name by practice of knowledge, meditation, or austerities. Surrender yourself first at the feet of the guru and learn to know that I myself is the name. After finding the source of that I, merge your individuality into the oneness, which is self existent and devoid of all duality. And devoid of all duality. And devoid of all duality. That which pervades beyond Dvaita or duality in Dvaititya, I can't say that, Dvaititya, which means that which is beyond duality. That name has come into the 3 worlds. The name is Para Brahman itself, where there is no action arising outside of duality. Now, if you listen to Maharaj, don't he always talk about Para Brahman? A Para Brahman? He said, my state is that of Para Brahman. I speak to you from the state of Para Brahman, which is not even a state. It just is. The same good idea is also found in the Bible. Oh, you niggas don't like the Bible? You have problem with the Bible? You want shrimp fried rice and drink? I give you shrimp fried rice and drink. Because you don't like the Bible. The Bible do so much wrong to you that he looking like a man. The same idea is also found in the Bible. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. You know, likey? It's okay. Questioner. So the true name of God will ultimately be revealed by self-inquiry? Since you yourself are the form of the Japa. You get what he's saying? Because the Japa is the word, the divine word, the divine name of God. The divine name of God. So what is he saying? You yourself, because you identify with the body, you yourself are the form of the word. What is he saying? You are the word, you are the God. Since the beginning was God, and God was the word, and the word was with God, you are the physical manifestation of God. You are the physical manifestation of the word. Oh, we in church. Since you yourself are the form of Japa, if you know your own nature by inquiring who you are, what a wonder it will be. The Japa, which was previously going on with effort, will continue intriguingly and effortlessly in the heart. It will continue once you figure out who you are. So what is he saying here? There will be no effort that needs to be done. What did we just get through saying? Thinking, I ain't doing enough spiritual shit. I'm caught up in the worldly shit. And holistically, you get what I'm saying when I'm saying that. Hopefully, I shouldn't have to explain that. But that shit will always be your background. No obstacles will apprehend you. Prosper over pain. Lord Ganesh, the meaning of the hidden meaning behind Lord Ganesh is what? It's my background. I don't have to constantly think this shit. I don't have to constantly run around. No obstacles will apprehend me. 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 I don't have to constantly run around and do that. Once it's been done enough, this is what I get this shit from Brother Pan. I get this shit from Bobby. Get this shit from my OGs. So by the time I get over here and here's some Maharashi, get over here and hear some Maharaj, I've already went through those so-called steps of constantly repeating. Like Panic gave the idea that when he first started off, he did a voice recording and constantly said, I am God, I am God, I am God. And he used to listen to that all day, listen to it while he go to sleep. I did the same shit. To ingrain that shit in the so-called subconscious mind. So it's the same thing with Japa. See, you're just getting it from a different methodology because over here we have a different traditional system. We damn it don't have a traditional system over here as far as spirituality is known, other than the Abrahamic religions in America. They have a different spiritual tradition over there. So a lot of people like to adapt a spiritual tradition. I'm not with that tradition shit. Methods and methodology, let's do it. Let's get it. Understanding of what we talking about here, let's get it. Let's do it. But I'm still gonna be a nigga that's gonna look like this. I might be that same nigga that walk past your car at the goddamn gas station and you lock your doors. Cause I know what image you may see. But that's not who the fuck I am. But that may be the image. And I'm gonna look like this. But if I had an orange cloak and cloth on, walking, you know what I'm saying? People be like, oh, are you a yoga teacher? Are you? Oh my God, they'll be so profound and struck because I'm a black man covered in some spiritual cloth. But nonetheless, what we're saying here, it becomes effortlessly. It becomes effortless. I mean, after all that repetition, what did Panda teach us about? Mind control, trauma, repetition, and symbols. So when you figure out the self is the symbol and everything around you is the self, everything is a fucking symbol. Everything is your guru, everything is your teacher. And you repeatedly get that drilled into your mind, there's actually no need for that trauma. You know what I'm saying? But that's the way that the so-called people who run the world put you under mind control. So you see how this is coming back full circle. Because I know a lot of us come from the school of thought of Panic and Bobby Hemmett. This is the same shit. Let's get it. Question. How long? No, let me read the questions, the stats first. Cotton Puppy said I needed that. Miss Kim's voice said it. He looking like a man. He looking like a man. Yeah, so what did the culprit look like, man? What is it? He looking like a man. Mad TV used to be that shit. Right there. The Bible says man was clothed in flesh or koshers. You got to strip, bitch. Take it all off. God is the naked truth. Get down and lay down, nigga. Take all that shit off, nigga. Give me all that shit, nigga. You draw my drawers too? Bitch, take your drawers off too. Give me that shit. My sock, your socks too. Bitch, take that shit off. Give me all that shit. You gotta be stripped butt naked and walk down the street. That's what this shit is about. Who wants to be stripped butt naked? Nigga may be willing, okay, I'll take my shirt off. Okay, I'll take my hat off. Okay, I'll take my jacket off. With spirituality, okay, I'll take that off. But I'm not getting stripped butt ass naked and have to walk down the street. That's what this shit is. It's stripping you all of that identity that your ass got. Stripped butt naked. God is the divine naked truth. Ass out, dick out, pussy out, everything out. Rock out. Mantra slips past the mind real sneaky like. Facts. Facts. Real sneaky like. Real sneaky like. Let's get into it, y'all. Come on, come on. Question: how long should I do Japa for? Should I also concentrate on the image of God at the same time? Japa is more important than external form. It must be done until it becomes natural. It starts with effort and is continued until it precedes itself. When when natural, it is called realization. Japa may be done even while engaged in other work. That which is, that which is the one reality. It may be presented by a form, a japa, a mantra, vicharya, or any other kind of attempt to reach reality. Let's see that again. It's highlight that. All of them finally resolve themselves into that one single reality. Bhakti, vicharya, and japa are only different forms of our effort to keep out the unreality, the false reality. That is it. The unreality or the false reality is an obsession at present, right? So we are obsessed with the illusionary Maya, right? We are obsessed with it at the present. But our true nature is reality, not the unreality, but the reality. We are wrongly persisting in unreality. That is, attachment to thoughts and worldly activities. Cessation of these will reveal the truth. Cessation of these will reveal the truths. Our attempts are directed towards keeping them out, and this is done by thinking of reality only. You know, when we say in reality, we're talking about the self. We're talking about consciousness. We're talking about the concept of Brahman. We're talking about the concept of God. Although that's what I'm saying. Once you get founded, once you get founded in this principle, you're not running around trying to avoid low vibrational people. Once you get founded in this principle, yes, you will start off like that, but don't stay there. Don't stay there. Because what are you doing? You're living in a state of there's something outside of me that exists. You're living in, which means you're living in a state of fear. Now you're constantly trying to avoid, 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 avoid. And all you're going to do is drive yourself crazy because what's going to happen? Just because you repeatedly putting that in the air, now you're going to be forcefully fed to a whole bunch of low vibrational people or low vibrational energies. Yo, yo. Okay, look like my mic got unplugged. That's what it keeps saying. I don't know what that shit's saying. Yeah, you fuck around and get your ass thrown in jail, man. And I don't mean go to prison, but you might fuck around and get thrown in jail where you got to sit in there and for a couple of days, 24 hours. Not all that avoiding low vibration. Now you went over the most low vibrational, and now your ass got to stand on principle. What you gonna do? You gonna bend, fold, or break? What you gonna do? So you don't have to continuously running around and talking about you trying to avoid that. Your background should be the ultimate cosmic principle, nigga. Your background should be the P at all times. Although it is our true nature, it looks as if we are thinking of it while doing these practices. What we really do amount to the removal of obstacles for the revelation of our true being. That's all we're doing. All we're really doing is removing the obstacles so we can so so the true self can be revealed. The true self can be revealed. That's it. Are our attempts sure to succeed? Realization is our nature. It is nothing new to be gained. What is new cannot be eternal. Therefore, there is no need for doubting whether one could lose or gain the self. Do we not just have a conversation about that? We just had a conversation about that. There's no question if you can, once you bite the forbidden fruit, bro, it's no if and buts about it. You're not going to leave this shit. It's going nowhere. First of all, because we talking about the self ultimately, you are already that. So there is not, you're not going to lose it. There's no question of that. That's the one who's ignorant, who does not know. Not ignorant as you as a stupid bitch, but that's ignorant of you have not realized. You don't know yet. You have not eternalized this shit yet. It's just some cool shit to you. You got to get past that. Question: is it good to do Japa when we know that inquiry into the self is the real thing? Listen, all methods are good since they will lead to the inquiry eventually. Japa is our real nature. When we realize the self, then Japa goes on without effort. What is the means at one stage becomes the goal at another. What is the means at one stage becomes the goal at another. When effortlessly constant Japa goes on, it is realization. So if you're at that point to constantly repeat that, do that. You know what the ultimate goal is, and you know what is leading you to, and you have heard the words that you already are that you are leading yourself to. But do it. Don't try to be, oh, I'm so advanced and skip. Oh, I always tell y'all my story when I got with Panic. Like, nigga hearing this shit, nigga think he all deep and advanced. And Penny said, listen, if you know you at the fucking beginner level, get beginner level books. Get chakras for dummies. Get karma for dummies. Get occultism for dummies. Don't play around with your ego. Start where you at. This shit is not about trying to make this spiritual achievement and be like, look at me, look what I've done. This is about self-realization. And the only person you can cheat is your goddamn self. Can't cheat nobody else. So let's go. Fact, zero. All the spiritual tools are nothing but in essence for you to realize that you are the motherfucking P. You did. Is it good to do Japa? Okay, we already read that. Question: I am not learned in the scriptures, and I find the method of self-inquiry too hard for me. I am a woman with 7 children and a lot of household cares, and it leaves me with little time for meditation. I request Bhagavan to give me some simpler and easier method. So if she's sitting there with 7 motherfucking kids answering a question like this, what makes you think you can't do it? I know y'all niggas ain't got 7 kids. No, learning knowledge of scriptures is necessary. Listen, no learning or knowledge of scriptures is necessary. It's not necessary. It can be done, but it's not necessary to know the self, as no man requires a mirror to see himself. All knowledge is required only to be given up eventually as not self. Okay, let's read that again, y'all. What he says: all knowledge is required only to be given up eventually as not self, nor is household. So all the shit that you learn is going to have to be given up. All the knowledge of the scriptures and all of that is going to have to be given up. Nor is household work or cares with children necessarily an obstacle. It's not an obstacle. It's not an obstacle. What did I just say? Now that I'm finna be a daddy now that I'm finna be a pappy, it's not an obstacle. It's not stopping shit. That's not an obstacle. Let's see what Bhagavan got to say. If you Okay. If you can do nothing more, at least saying I to yourself mentally as advised in who am I? If one insistently thinks I and I, it will lead to the state of the self. Continue to repeat it wherever work you may be doing, whether you are sitting, standing, or walking. I is the name of God. It is the first and the greatest of all mantras. Even Om is second to it. So motherfuckers say, I ain't got time, I got kids, I got work, got a business to run. I ain't got time. What can I do? Yeah, I know I need to meditate, but I be busy. I got kids. I'm a single parent. Oh, my baby mama be tripping. You can't repeatedly think, who am I? Or the I? Or even on. Oh, but no, you don't want to do that. You want to do some old flashy shit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You want to be able to sit down in a quiet place with your legs crossed and you done did your stretches. Yeah. You want to be able to have some time to sit down and read some books and yeah. But when a motherfucker give you something so simple like this, you're like, oh, well, well, is that really gonna work? Yeah, lame man, nigga, try it. Yeah, take a sample, nigga. Here you go. You want a sample? Take a sample, nigga. And you tell me that meat gonna fall off the bone. That meat gonna fall off the bone. We can't be doing these excuses, y'all. It should be no fucking excuse. Especially since we've been over here, been tapped in on this non-dual shit. It's no fucking excuse, bro. All we've been doing over here is breaking down the tricks of the motherfucking mind. That's all we've been doing. That's all we've been over here talking about. How the mind is the trickster. That motherfucker will come up with anything. You got to get to the point where you observing that motherfucker. I just be observing and watching it come up with the fear and doubt. Because now, like I told you, I'm about to be a father now. So fear and doubt. Oh, you think fear and doubt don't pop up in my mind, nigga? Yes, the fuck it does. I don't take ownership of that shit though. I refuse to take ownership of any of that shit. That shit is separate from I. I tell you that now. Fear and doubt is separate from me. It holds no grounds with me, buddy. Oh, but it pops up. Yes, it does. I'm finna have a son. I gotta do this. I gotta have this. I gotta have this. And then 30 years down the line, he gotta have this. And then he gotta have this. And I wanna be this. And I gotta have that. Or what if I don't be able to do this? And what if I can't be able to do this? And what if I can't do this? And what if I can't? I'm looking at that shit like, looking at those thoughts like, I literally say this. Man, that shit ain't got shit to do with me. That ain't got nothing to do with me. And guess what? Those thoughts start to drop off. They start to drop off. Those thoughts start to drop off. Let me read these comments first before I start off. Continue. Cosmic Puzzle Piece said, you talking to me right now. When I take a break on spiritual practice, sometimes I feel like I'm getting left behind. I'm hearing the message loud and clear. There, bro. That's the mind trying to trick your ass, bro. Because listen, we just had a method right here. You can continuously focus on the I. See, now a cosmic puzzle piece knows that we're not talking about the ego I. You know what I'm saying? You know we're not talking about the egotistic I. You know what I we talking about right here. The ultimate I, the big I. Continuously do that. Or continuously know that I am Brahman. You can, whatever. You can continuously be on it. You can continuously remember that you standing on principle. Same thing. That's just a cool terminology I use for the same shit of the I, the self, the P. We just call it the P over here. The ultimate principle. You can continuously be aware of that. That's your practice. You can continuously observe your thoughts, your one-sided opinions, and your emotions in your body. You can continuously do that. That's the practice. How can we never not do that? We always can do that. That's the practice. It's not fancy. It's not glamorous. It's not love. It's not some blue light coming around your head and some goddamn aliens coming from a fifth dimension picking you up and tell you we got you. It ain't that. But it's just the direct shit. Straightforward, straight to the jaw. Bow. Bow bow. Coop says, who is the one who says I am too busy? Who is that? Who's saying that shit? That's a practice right there. Question that. That's the practice right there. Because what are you doing? You're constantly reverting back to the ultimate I, the P, the consciousness, the ultimate principle. Tender, do it, tires. I am that. Oh, I was about to say, do it tired. I am that. Oh yeah, appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that, bro. Yeah. Real evolutionary. I already know you a pop, so you know. Everybody in my family, all my homies, I'm the last Mohegan to not have a child. I'm the last one. Everybody got kids but me. Out of all my friends, childhood friends, my hood homies, cousins, I'm the last one. So yeah, bro. Appreciate you though, brother. Appreciate you, brother. All right, let's get to it, y'all. Question. For controlling the mind, which of the two is better? God damn it. Shit. Hold up, y'all. Motherfucker. It is what it is, though. For controlling the mind, which of the two is better? Performing Japa of the Japa, unspoken. Oh, performing Japa of a Japa. A Japa means unspoken. Performing Japa of the a Japa mantra or of Omkar, the sound of Om. Which one is better? What is your idea of unspoken in involuntary Japa or a Japa? Will it be a Japa if you go on repeating with the mouth? Soham, I am he, I am he. A Japa really means to know that Japa which is involuntary without being uttered through the mouth. Basically what we just saying. A Japa really means to know that Japa which goes on involuntary without being uttered through the mouth. Without knowing this real meaning, people think that it means repeating with the mouth the words saham, hundreds of thousands of times, counting them on the fingers or on a string of beads. Before beginning a japa, breath control is prescribed. That means do first do pranayama, regulating the breath, and then begin repeating the mantra. Pranayama Pranayama means first closing the mouth, doesn't it? If by stopping the breath, the five elements in the body are bound down in control, what remains is the self. That self will by itself be repeating always aham or I. That is a japa. Knowing this, how could that which is repeated by mouth be a japa? The version of the real self which performs japa of its own accord involuntarily and in a clever ending stream, like flowing down the continuously. of oil, a japa and Gayatri, and even hold up. Let's read that again. The self, the vision of the real self, which performs japa of its own accord involuntarily, and in a never-ending stream, like the flowing down continuously of oil, is a japa, Gayatri, and everything. If you know who it is that is doing japa, you will know what japa is. If you search and try to find out what it is that is doing japa, the japa itself becomes the self. And why I keep telling you to figure out who that I is. Who am I? Question: is there any benefit at all to doing japa with the mouth? Who says there is no benefit? Such japa will be the means of chitta, sudi, or purifying the mind, right? Or shuddhi, or sudi, purifying the mind. And this is purifying the elements, tatwa shuddhi, right? A cheetah, a chitta, a chitta, shuddhi, purifying the mind. As japa is done repeatedly, the effort ripens and sooner or later leads to the right path. Good or bad, whatever is done never goes to waste. You hear that? Good or bad, whatever is done never goes to waste. Only the difference in the merits and the demerits of each will have to be told, looking to the stage of development of the person concerned. Is not mental japa better than oral japa? I guess this is just different people asking the same question. Oral japa consists of sound. The sounds arise. The sounds arise from thoughts. For one must think one expresses, okay, for one must think before one expresses the thoughts in words. The thoughts form the mind. Therefore, mental japa is better than oral japa. Did you hear that? Let that sink in. Matter of fact, let's read that again. Oral japa consists of sound. The sounds arise from thoughts. The sound arise from thoughts. For one must think before one expresses the thoughts into words. The thoughts form the mind. Therefore, mental japa is better than oral japa. Should we not contemplate the japa and repeat it orally also? When the japa becomes mental, where is the need for the sounds? Japa becoming mental becomes contemplation. Dhyana or meditation, contemplation, and mental japa are the same. When thoughts cease to be promiscuous and one thought persists to the exclusion of all others, it is said to be contemplation. So there's your meditation with japa. You meditate today, your japa, do your japa, do your divine name, do your divine word, your God word, do it. It's the same thing. The objects of japa or danya is the exclusion of several thoughts and confining oneself to one single thought. Then that thought too vanishes into its source, the absolute consciousness, the self. The mind engages in japa and then sinks into its own source. That's it. Question: so the mind is said to be from the brain. Question: the answer: where is the brain? It is in the body. I say that the body itself is a projection of the mind. Your body only exists in your mind. I know you think there's an outside body, but there's not. It only exists in the mind. And we don't have to go through that again. We go through that all the goddamn time. So y'all niggas know. But you speak of the brain when you think of the body. It is the mind which creates the body, the brain in it, and also the assertions that the brain is the seat, that the brain is its seat. The mind is creating all of those ideas. Question: Sri Bhagavan has said that the japa must be traced to its source. Is it not the mind that is meant? Answer: all these are only the workings of the mind. Japa helps to fix the mind on a single thought. All other thoughts are first subordinated until they disappear. When it becomes mental, it is called danya. Danya is your nature. It is wherever it is, however, called danya because it is made with effort. Effort is necessary so long as thoughts are promiscuous. Because you are with other thoughts, you call the continuity of a single thought meditation or danya. Do you hear that? Because you are with other thoughts. First, it says effort is necessary so long as thoughts are promiscuous. Because you are with other thoughts, because you have all of these thoughts going on in your head, you call the continuity of a single thought meditation or danya. If danya becomes effortless, it will be found to be your real nature. So you'll figure out, like, oh, I am meditation. I don't have to meditate. I am meditation. People give some names to God and say that the name is sacred and that repetition of the name bestow merit on the individual. Can it be true? Why not? You bear a name to which you answer, but your body was not born with the name written on it, nor did it say to anyone that it bore such and such a name. And yet a name is given to you, and you answer to that name because you have identified yourself with that name. Therefore, the name signifies something, and it is not a mere fiction. Therefore, the name signifies something, and it is not a mere fiction. Similarly, God's name is effective. Repetition of the name is remembrance of what it signifies, not what it is, but what it represents. A name is what is remembrance of what it signifies. Hence, it's merit. That is right. That's right, Mata. All thoughts are promiscuous. The promiscuous thoughts. Motherfucker. Mm-hmm. Whatever thoughts you're thinking. Promiscuous. That name is by Lil Kid. Let's highlight that. Okay. Questioner says, while making japa for an hour or more, I fall into a state like sleep. On waking, I recollect that my japa has been interrupted, so I try again. So here we go. Quotation marks, he says, like sleep. That is right. It is the natural state because you are now associated with the ego. You consider that the natural state is something which interrupts your work. Do you see what I'm saying, y'all? Let's read that again. Like sleep, that is right. Oh, you said like sleep? Guess what? That's right. It is a natural state because you are now associated with the ego. You consider that the natural state is something which interrupts your work. So you must have the experience repeated until you realize that it is your natural state. You will then find that japa is extraneous, but still it will go on automatically. Your present doubt is due to that false identity, namely of identifying yourself with a mind that does the japa. You have started to identify yourself with the mind that's doing the japa. That's why he says, who is that that's doing japa? Who is that that is meditating? Those are the questions to be asked. Japa means clinging to one thought to the exclusion of all other thoughts. That is its purpose. It leads to danya or meditation, which ends in self-realization or jnana. See how everything is everything, y'all. It is what it is, gang. How should I carry on Japa? One should not use the name of God mechanically and superficially without the feeling of devotion. So you just don't just repeat it and repeat it. You gotta have that inner feeling. The inner feeling, nigga. The questioner says, so mechanical repetition is unproductive? He says, acute disease will not be cured by merely repeating the name of the medicine. So if you got a disease, it ain't gonna be cured by just repeating the name of the medicine, but only by drinking the medicine. Similarly, the bonds of birth and death will not cease merely by doing many repetitions or mahavakyas, such as I am Shiva or I am Brahman, right? Instead of wondering about repeating I am the supreme, abide as the supreme yourself. The misery of birth and death will not cease by vocally repeating countless times, I am that, but only by abiding as I am that. Or abiding by, or only by abiding as that. So it only works if you standing on principle, goddamn. That's all they're saying. Question: can anyone get any benefit by repeating sacred syllables / mantras picked up casually? No. He must be competent and initiated in such mantras. This is illustrated by the story of the king and his minister. A king visited. Oh yeah, I remember this. A king visited premier in his residence. There, he was told that the premier was engaged in repetition of sacred syllables. The king waited for him, and on meeting him, asked him what mantra was and asked him what the mantra was. The premier said that it was the holiest of all, the Gayatri mantra. Right? The king desired to be initiated by the premier, but the premier confessed his inability to initiate him. Therefore, the king learned it from someone else. In meeting the minister later, he repeated the Gayatri mantra and wanted to know if it was right. The minister said that the mantra was correct, but it was not proper for him to say it, right? When pressed from an explanation, the minister called to a page close by and ordered him to take hold of the king. Check this out. So the minister or the teacher he given an example. He told him, I'm pretty sure y'all heard this story before. He called the guards over and told them to arrest the king. He's finna make a point with this. The order was not obeyed. The order was often repeated. So the minister, the teacher, the preacher, or the sage, he kept repeating it. He kept repeating, take the king into custody. And it was still not obeyed. The king flew into rage and ordered the man to hold the minister, and it was immediately done. The minister laughed and said that the incident was an explanation required by the king. How? Asked the king. How? Asked the king. The minister replied, the order was the same, and the executor also, but the authority was different. Did my nigga Trev spiritual authority, nigga? You ain't got no spiritual authority just by knowing a whole bunch of shit. So you see how he's explaining to him how the mantra has to be placed upon some type of authority. You have to really be standing on this shit and abiding by this shit, not just repeating this shit and saying this shit. Because if I'm a priest and there's a king and I call the king's men over here to arrest the king, they not fucking listening to me. I don't have the proper authority to do that. But the king says that shit one time and the guards grab his ass. The minister replied, the order was the same and the executioner also, but the authority was different. When I ordered, the effect was nil. Whereas when you ordered, it was immediate effect. Similar with mantras. Sadia, SOP. Never late, always on time. and you are so divine with your timing. Puzzle P said SOP. That's that on that. So, question: I am taught. I am taught that mantra japa is very potent in practice. Answer: the self is the greatest of all mantra. It goes on automatically and eternally. If you are not aware of this internal mantra, you should take it consciously as japa, which is intended with effort to ward off all other thoughts. By constant attention to it, you will eventually become aware of the internal mantra, which is the state of realization, and is effortless. Firmness and awareness will keep you continually and effortlessly in the current. However much you may engage, however much you may be engaged in other activities. So if you're in a place with a whole bunch of people and there's too much rowdiness going on, after you have been practicing your japa or practicing your mantra and continuously doing it, it wouldn't matter where you are. It's a whole bunch of low vibrational people around. It wouldn't make a difference now because you have been practicing and you have been repeatedly standing firm on this principle, right? By practicing your japa, by practicing the divine name. So, no matter however much you may be engaged in other activities, by repetition of mantra, the mind gets controlled. The mind gets controlled. The mind gets controlled. Then the mantra becomes one with the mind and also with the prana or the vital force energy, right? So now you and the mantra have become one. When the syllables of the mantra become one with prana, it is termed danya or meditation. And when danya becomes deep and firm, it leads to saja siddhi, the natural state. Questioner says, I have received a mantra. People frighten me by saying that it may have unforeseen results if repeated. It is only pranava or om. So I seek advice. May I repeat it? I have considerable faith in it. Certainly, it should be repeated with faith. Would it do by itself, or can you kindly give me any further instructions? The object of mantra japa is to realize the same japa is already going on in oneself, even without effort. That's the whole thing right there. He said, do I need any further instructions? Right? Listen. He tells them, listen. The object of mantra japa is to realize that the same japa is already going on in oneself, even without effort. The oral japa becomes mental, and the mental japa finally reveals itself as being eternal. The mantra is the person's real nature. That is also the state of realization. Do you see how he gives people different answers depending on where they are? The word is only a representation. Remember, we said the word is with God and God is the word. And you are the physical manifestation of that word. The physical manifestation is only a representation. It's only a logo. It's only a commercial. It's only a representation of what it really is. So the same thing with the japa. It's already going on. You are, that's why this book is called Be As You Are. You are already it. But it's just to give you some direction. It's to give you a representation. Question: can bliss of samadhi be gained thus? Can you gain bliss of samadhi by doing these japas? The japa becomes mental and finally reveals itself as the self. That is samadhi. God damn, y'all. And that is the end. That is the end of this chapter. We went 3 hours. Zero SOP. Don P say SOP. My nigga Rose of Flames was happening, my wigger. My wigger. Rose of Flame was happening, big love, my guy. SO motherfucking P. Om Namah Shiva. Om Namah Shiva. Om Namah Shiva. We have just finished Know Thyself Sundays. Chapter 10 and 11, Japa and meditation. What the other chapter was in meditation? Mantras and Japa. And this one was meditation, right? Meditation and concentration. If you missed this, I would definitely say rewind the fuck back. Rewind the fuck back, because we just ran through some shit. Let's read that last thing again. He says, and the object of mantra japa is to realize that the same japa is already going on in oneself, even without effort. You are already the self, right? Everything he's saying you can take back and relate to the self. You're already the self. It's already continuously going on. You just need to place attention onto it. And not with the contents of the mind that the mind is trying to feed you. The worry, the doubt, the fear. You don't need to be paying attention to none of that. Put the attention on the self. Because you are already that effortlessly. The oral japa becomes mental, and the mental japa finally reveals itself as being eternal. The mantra is the person's real nature. That is also the state of realization. Questioner says this: can the bliss of samadhi be gained by doing this? Listen, the japa becomes mental and finally reveals itself as the self. That is samadhi. That is samadhi, y'all. That's samadhi. That is samadhi. So, how y'all feeling about this Sunday service? This Know Thyself Sunday service. How y'all feeling? Let me see the chat. Let me know how y'all feeling. Was this a SOP or NOPE? Oh yeah, Rose. I think he got a new. Oh, he said he got reported. Damn. Man, I appreciate you too. I appreciate you too, Colin Puzzle Piece. I appreciate all y'all. Everything that Colin Puzzle Piece just said. I second that. Countless ways to remind you of the one simple central truth. Thou art that right now. Basically. Just so many words, the shit has been said, so many words is being delivered, but it's all just to remind you that thou art that. You are that. You are that. And be that. Okay. Moving there and say solid. Appreciate y'all. Eternally I shine. Eternally I shine, y'all. So, y'all, we have done it. Chapter 10 and 11. We should be back next Sunday for chapter 11 and 12. As I told y'all, now that I'm walking into fatherhood, there's a lot of things that seems to be goddamn needing to be done. And guess what? No matter what, they will be done. So, been focusing on that, wrapped up in that, not even wrapped up in that, but putting attention where attention needs to be due and done there. So that's why y'all missed me last Sunday, and we should be back next Sunday unless something else pops up. But regardless, we're always going to return here. We're always going to return back to the self because we never left the self. So with that being said, what do we always say? No obstacle will apprehend you. Prosper over pain. Prosperity ain't just got nothing. It ain't always just got something to do with money. Because there are no obstacles, right? Those obstacles are opportunity for you to prosper over the pain. Those obstacles are opportunity for you to stand back and observe. Observe what? Your one-sided ass thoughts. Observe your thoughts, your one-sided opinions, and you can observe the body. You can observe the world. That's your fucking practice. That's your practice. Switch to observer mode. Who is this I who thinks he has so much to do? Who is this I who's meditating? Who is this I who's trying to stay away from low vibrational beings? Who is this I? That is your practice, my niggas. So peace, love, and motherfucking hair grease. And appreciate that, Rose of Flame. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that again, Zero. Appreciate all y'all. And y'all know we will be back for another Know Thyself Sunday. Keep that shit P. Stand on P. You are the ultimate motherfucking principle, gang. One love.